parce qu'il est là, les foreign minister, il est là, ou pour l'interactive session, il est là. Il n'a pas non. Non, ou les sous-parties là, mais c'est moi pas servi mic là. Ou servi ça mic là, parce qu'il l'a salé, vous parlez sin ce qui. C'est-à-dire, ou pour se parler, mais ou pas servi ce mic, ou servi ça mic là.
Ou bien mon god masque là, parce qu'il m'a pas.
Mais au cas que c'est avec moi.
Après ça, le bookline, causé, quand même, c'est le micro. Il n'y a pas réel leur micro là. Parce qu'ils voient tous ça.
Ils voient tous ça, mais moi, après, le can sanitizer.
J'ai suivi le micro après.
Tu m'as sanitize micro là, c'est passé.
C'est bien qu'on voit ça, quand tous les. Mais l'autre là, je vous ai comprendre.
Donc là, il y a même papier, vous aurez frappé, si vous regardez.
Qu'est-ce que le problème? Now, everyone that comes go this way, right? Everyone that comes goes this way.
Yeah, this way. We can't use this door because... Hi.
Oh, you were there, yes. You can't recognize anybody with the
No, I can.
MC.
Your Excellency Dr. Jaishankar, External Affairs Minister of India, Dr. the Honorable Renganaden Padayachy, Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Development, Your Excellency Srimati Nandini Singla, High Commissioner of India to Mauritius, Dr. Anup Wadawan, Secretary of the Department of Commerce of India, distinguished members of the ministerial delegation from India, Ambassador Dilam, Secretary for Foreign Affairs, Mr. Ovesh Sigulam, Governor of the Bank of Mauritius, Mr. Emraj Ramyal, the Chairman of the Economic Development Board, Vice Chairman, Board Directors of the EDB, distinguished business leaders and participants, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. A very good afternoon to all of you. I am Ken Punusamy, the Acting CEO of the Economic Development Board, and it is indeed a great honor and privilege for me to welcome you on behalf of the High Commission of India and the Economic Development Board to this interactive session with our distinguished guest, His Excellency Dr. Jaishankar. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we are indeed thrilled to see in the room today such a great number of private sector leaders joining us. This is a clear reaffirmation of the promises that Mauritius-India business connections hold now and in the future. Such a reaffirmation is an act of faith in the most enduring of relations that happily exist between Mauritius and India. Indeed, Mauritius enjoys with India the closest of all our bilateral relationship. The frequent high-level visits by the leaders of our two countries at different points in time and their interactions not only constitute the hallmark of these privileged ties, but they also reflect that India and Mauritius are for each other an unavoidable destination. Such visits, characterized as always by goodwill and trust, inject fresh momentum to further elevate the multifaceted bilateral relations within which economic partnership is gaining increasing weight. The landmark visit of the Honorable Minister Jaishankar is one such elevating occasion, which we as the Economic Development Board could not afford to miss. Our event today is indeed a happy complement to the high-level official engagements of the Honorable Minister, since business connections form a critical pillar of this unique relationship. Your Excellency, we have this afternoon among us economic operators spanning from a wide range of sectors with direct interest in India. Excellencies, distinguished guests, taking into consideration that we have a very tight schedule, and as you're very aware, the Honorable Minister has other functions and will have to leave at 5:30 sharp, I would like to inform you that we have provided, besides the program, with a booklet of all the contact details of companies present today. Ladies and gentlemen, without much further ado, it is now my pleasure to welcome Dr. the Honorable Renganaden Padayachy, Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Development, to deliver his welcome address. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Dr. Subrahmanyam Jaishankar, External Affairs Ministers, Government of the Republic of India, Your Excellency Srimati Nandini Singla, High Commissioner of the Republic of India to the Republic of Mauritius, Dr. Anup Wadawan, Commerce Secretary, Government of the Republic of India, His Excellency Heyman Dilam, Secretary for Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Regional Integration and International Trade, Mr. Vishundram, Deputy Financial Secretary, Minister of Finance, Republic of Mauritius, His Excellency Avesh Sigulam, Governor, Bank of Mauritius, Mr. Emraj Ramnyal, Chairman of EDB, Chairmen and CEOs of public and private sector organizations, Captain of Industries, distinguished guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, namaskar, good afternoon. It is with immense pleasure that I'm addressing you today. I'm indeed truly honored to welcome His Excellency Dr. Subrahmanyam Jaishankar, External Affairs Minister of the Republic of India. Excellency, your visit to Mauritius is a momentous occasion. It bears testimony to the very special relationship between Mauritius and India. Indeed, all along our development path, India has stood by our sides. The Metro Express, the ENT Hospital, and the new Supreme Court building are a few examples of projects that benefited from Indian financial assistance. With the COVID-19 pandemic, where nations are struggling to obtain vaccines, Mauritius has benefited from the generosity of India. We have already received some 200,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines since the start of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, our shared past, as well as close economic, cultural, and human ties, have forged a deep bond between our two countries. For decades, Indian companies have been investing significantly in Mauritius. Companies such as State Bank of India, Bank of Baroda, Indian Oil, LIC, to name a few, are today an important part of our business fabric. On the trade front, India is a major partner, accounting for 11% of total trade. More than ever, India is becoming an important market for motion mark products and vice versa. Excellency, the signing of the Comprehensive Economic Cooperation and Partnership Agreement yesterday marks another historical turning point in the economic ties between our two countries. The finalization of the CECPA is the conclusion of a long-standing partnership under the strong determination of our two Prime Ministers, Sri Narendra Modi ji and Pravin Kumar Jagnnath. This agreement will unlock the doors of India for preferential access to around 615 tariff lines, and those of Mauritius to 310 tariff lines of Indian products. Moreover, the Trade in Services chapter of the agreement will boost cross-border investment flows and movement of people. I'm pleased to note that our status as a small island state has been recognized in this landmark agreement. India has shown consideration and has ensured that trade is not done at the expense of our local industry. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, let me appeal to the vast range of Indian companies, entrepreneurs, and talents in exploring opportunities in Mauritius. Mauritius today needs investment and expertise in various sectors. These can be mutually beneficial to our two continents. Mauritius offers an exceptional ease of doing business environment, a highly skilled workforce, and a unique quality of life. More importantly, Mauritius is a home away from home for Indian entrepreneurs. Excellency, our event this afternoon has gathered key business leaders in Mauritius, coming from various sectors of the Mauritian economy. I'm inviting them to take full advantage of the opportunities that the CECPA offers to expand their business activities. I take this opportunity to announce that the EDB will soon organize a specific workshop on the opportunities of CECPA. I would like to end by thanking you and the Government of India once again for your unwavering support to Mauritius. Your presence here at today's interactive session with the local business community is a sign of the commitment of our two countries to make the CECPA a success. Your Excellency, our country and our people are grateful for your support. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Our special relations are indeed, in a sense, much more than the sum of the wide array of treaties and agreements concluded between our two countries. They are nurtured by people-to-people links. They are articulated in a wide range of engagement with each other at different levels and at all times, including during the COVID pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my privilege to welcome Dr. Anup Wadawan, who is the Secretary for the Department of Commerce, Ministry of Commerce and Industry of the Government of India, to address you.
Dr. Renganaden Padayachy, the Honorable Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Development, Government of Mauritius, Dr. S. Jaishankar, Honorable Minister of External Affairs of India, Mr. Hemraj Ramnial, Chairman, the Economic Development Board, distinguished captains of the industry and members of the Indo-Mauritius business community, officials from the Government of Mauritius, my colleagues from the Government of India, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to be here on this historic visit to Mauritius, led by Dr. Jaishankar, and to be amongst all of you at this very important business event. While this is an occasion to celebrate our long-standing, deep, growing, and unshakable bilateral ties, spanning across all dimensions, ranging from cultural, social, economic, and strategic, to the very close people-to-people ties, more importantly, it is an occasion marking the laying of the foundation of a new phase of even deeper and faster growing trade and investment ties with the signing of the Comprehensive Economic Cooperation and Partnership Agreement between our two countries. It will enable our significant economic engagement to achieve new heights and reach its full potential in an expedited time frame. To recount, since the establishment of diplomatic relations between India and Mauritius in 1948, bilateral trade and investment have grown steadily. Bilateral merchandise trade between India and Mauritius registered a growth of 233% from about $200 million in 2005-2006 to about $690 million in 2019-20. And the traded commodity basket is very diverse, ranging from traditional products to modern technology-intensive products. India's exports to Mauritius range from petroleum products, basmati rice, cotton and man-made yarn, drug formulations, biologicals, motor vehicles, to electrical machinery and equipment. And Mauritius exports to India include items like telecom instruments, medical and scientific instruments, spices, aluminium, products of aluminium, ready-made garments, copper and copper products, to name a few, just to give you a glimpse of the diversity and richness of our trade. Even though the negotiations and finalization of the India-Mauritius Comprehensive Economic Cooperation and Partnership Agreement has taken some time, it is a matter of immense satisfaction that thanks to our joint efforts, the agreement now stands dotted and signed for early implementation. The agreement is the logical next step in further strengthening and enhancing our ties. It will lead to significant mutual benefits in a very balanced manner by giving an impetus to our goods and services trade to preferential access for key goods lines, a stable and conducive policy environment for services trade and investment, clarity and ease of procedure in areas like customs cooperation, rules of origin, sanitary and phytosanitary measures, technical barriers to trade, dispute settlement, and trade remedies. Since members of the business community are here, I'm going into some detail for your curiosity and interest. It will achieve a high level of liberalization in terms of bringing most of our trade into the preferential orbit, while also encouraging new potential areas. So it's a forward-looking agreement which covers our existing trade and has other items of future potential. Mauritius will benefit from market access into India for a large number of products, including frozen fish, specialty sugars, biscuits, fresh fruit, juices, mineral water, beer, alcoholic drinks, soaps, bags, medical and surgical equipment, and garments. The items include 40,000 tons of sugar per annum, 1.5, if I may mention these items, 1.5 million liters of rum, 2 million liters of beer, and 7.5 million pieces of apparel per annum, for which Mauritius enjoys a reputation of global excellence. India, with a population of 1.4 billion, offers a huge market for these products. India's current global imports of these products stand at US $15 billion per annum. So if you look at current Mauritius exports to India and you see this potential market, there's a huge potential for growing Mauritian exports to India. Most significantly, Indian consumers will benefit from these very high quality products I mentioned. Mauritius enjoys a certain reputation for global excellence in these products, and it will be to the benefit of our consumers in India to consume these. Services, again, there is a big forward movement. Both countries have taken commitments in 11 broad categories, which include 100 subsectors. These include business services, communication services, construction and related engineering services, distribution services, education services, environmental services, financial services, health-related and social services, tourism and travel-related services, recreational, cultural and sporting services, and transport services. One of the highlights in services liberalization is the movement of natural persons, which will allow nationals of both countries to engage in service provision in sectors that are opened up. With 75% of the Mauritius GDP coming from services, the agreement will give further impetus to this sector and pave the way for enhanced investment in Mauritius. So the commitments in services include Mode 3, which is investment-based service delivery, and it will pave the way for significant investment flow into Mauritius in the services sector and create local jobs. Above all, we need to remember that trade agreements envisage a dynamic arrangement which will be further strengthened by this agreement. So I think that is an important forward-looking aspect to the agreement, that it is subject to further and further improvement as we go along. It merits mention that we have also agreed to conclude negotiations for additional tariff lines within the next 2 years. Both countries have also agreed to finalize the chapter on general economic cooperation within 2 years of the signing of the CECPA. So it is a forward-looking arrangement where both countries have recognized that the significant the sky is the agreement is a step forward in goals, the fact that it is between and trusted friends, the first trade agreement and an African country. I'm sure it will pave the way for promoting greater India-Africa cooperation with Mauritius as a key pillar and facilitator. In these difficult times, when the stresses caused to the world economy by rising protectionism and unilateralism have been accentuated by the COVID pandemic to a breaking point, the agreement will be an example for the world on the way forward for global trade based on cooperation and mutual understanding. I'm confident the agreement will facilitate expedited recovery from the devastating economic impact of the COVID pandemic for both our economies. A major underlying determinant of trade and a key element of an economic relationship is investment. In this context, I'm happy to note that the cumulative FDI equity inflows from Mauritius to India during the period April 2000 to September 2020 amounted to US dollars 145 billion, which is 29% of India's total FDI inflow. Mauritius, after Singapore, was the second largest source of FDI into more recent financial years of 2018-19 and 2019-20, with equity flows of US $8 billion and US dollars 8.24 billion respectively. While most of you would be broadly aware, I must draw your attention to the numerous measures taken recently. This is important in the investment context. The measures taken recently by the government of India to make India an even more attractive destination for foreign direct investment, reflected in India climbing up in the World Bank's ease of doing business rankings from 130 in 2018 to 63 in 2019. In addition to these improvements in the approvals environment, which has been largely digitized to create a plug-and-play physical environment for investment with an efficient and adequate infrastructure, logistics, and utilities ecosystem. Moreover, the Government of India has recently approved the production-linked incentive schemes for 13 sectors for attracting investment and enhancing India's manufacturing capability. 3 PLI schemes for electronics, pharmaceuticals, and medical devices are already notified. Other sectors, including chemicals, solar equipment, including solar cells and panels, power equipment, electric vehicle components, electric batteries, specialty steels and automobiles and auto components will follow. So this is a huge opportunity for investors from Mauritius to invest in India. I take this opportunity to invite Mauritius entrepreneurs to invest increasingly in India and benefit from the large market, especially in the 13 sectors covered under the PLI schemes. India too will continue to increasingly play its part in promoting investment in Mauritius. India has made significant foreign investment in Mauritius, with 11 Indian public sector enterprises currently functioning in Mauritius. India is already one of the largest investors in Africa, with cumulative investment of US $54 billion. Sizable investments have been made in oil and gas, mining, and sectors of this nature, including textiles, banking, telecommunications. Unlike the case with many other countries, the value addition by Indian investment, by the very manner in which it is undertaken, has contributed to creating local jobs and growth. I don't wish to mention specific countries, but very often investment has not led to creation of local jobs, which is not the case with Indian investment. It has led across the world to creation of huge number of jobs through a core team of expatriate Indians, very few core team members contributing to tenfold creation of local employment, and that's the hallmark of Indian investment across the globe, and I'm sure in Mauritius also. The other aspect is that Mauritius's membership of various regional trading blocs, such as the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, the South African Development Community, and the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, which is the largest FTA in terms of the number of parties, will encourage investment flows to grow further at a rapid pace. I also take note of the very, very forward-looking and ambitious initiative captured in the Mauritius Vision 2030 and the Mauritius Industrial Policy and Strategic Plan. So all these, I think, augur extremely well for growing investment flows between our two countries to the mutual benefit of both countries, and I'm very positive about it. Further, more importantly, we must endeavor to ensure that our businesses are able to fully utilize the opportunities created by the CECPA. It is important to create awareness amongst them and enable interaction through business and buyer-seller meets to develop commercial ties that the CECPA would create new incentives to pursue. Governments can only create the facilitating framework. Ultimately, it is businesses like yours that must act to take advantage of the commercial opportunities. Let me not speak too long. I think I've already spoken too long. Let me not speak much further.
That is exactly what we have done with Mauritius in the last few years. I was here 4 years ago in a previous capacity, and I was really happy to come back to see many of the ideas and suggestions and proposals of that period be a working reality today in Mauritius. I could mention the Metro Express, on which I had a lovely ride this afternoon, or the Supreme Court building where I went to see the Chief Justice, or the ENT hospital, which is functioning as a COVID center, treatment center today, or indeed the social housing project, which we expect to be ready in a few months, which is almost 1,000 houses. My point to you is that not only is the deep friendship, the old traditional ties strong today, but it has actually found a contemporary expression in our development partnership, which has also unfolded very, very positively. And it's been a great privilege for me to come and see it for myself. And I really actually appreciate the efficiency of the government of Mauritius, which has made all of that possible. Now, Dr. Badhavan said that he was here for the first time and he would treasure this visit. I can completely understand his sentiments. I'm not a way in which all of us cannot really imagine today. I think Commerce Secretary spelled out for many of you the opportunities in India which CECPA could offer. And he went into details, but for me the big takeaway was that there will be a lot of products where Mauritius has a very strong reputation and capability, and those products today would access the Indian market in a preferential basis, and the overall size of the market for those products is today globally $15 billion for us, and obviously it's even one part of that is exploited by Mauritian producers. I think the gains of CECPA will not be small. But let me speak on the other part of it. Because as Foreign Minister, I'm very intimately involved with our Africa policy. Perhaps it would come as a surprise to many of you, and perhaps even to my own colleagues. We have opened 18 new embassies in the world in the last 3 years. All 18 are in Africa. When they are opened, and they will be finished this year, we would have embassies in 47 out of 54 African countries. I spoke of development partnership being an expression, a contemporary expression of friendship. We have projects today already in 49 out of 54 African countries. So the point I make to you is, when we look at Africa, for us, it is very much part of the future direction of the world. We've always looked at it as a reservoir of resources, but I think increasingly it is very much today a pool of talent. It is a growing market. It offers opportunities for more business. Indeed, if you look at the modern economic history of the world, you can actually see businesses in the world move from geography to geography. They respond to various compulsions, not always business compulsions, it could be others as well. And certainly I see a period in the not very distant future where Africa will also actually be harboring a significant part of global business. And I mentioned that to you some emphasis, because when we look at Africa, and we have a historical connection with Africa. I mean, there's probably no African capital, possibly no African major city, town, where there isn't an Indian community. We've long been there. But when it comes to business relations, I think you all know better than me. My foreign business is much briefer than yours. That everybody needs gateways, people need hubs, people need organization points. You need sometimes intermediation. And I see a lot of possibilities there in Mauritius for that. We, as I said, we know a lot of people there, but there would be many countries and regions where actually your relationships would be helpful. But more than that, I think you have today, because Africa in the last few years itself has got much more integrated, and you are part of that integration process. I think there is a value today that Mauritius offers, which perhaps when we first started discussing CECPA was not that apparent. So let me just conclude my remarks by highlighting to you that today the world which CECPA could open up really is a very, very promising one for the business. I certainly do think that it will have a transformational impact on our relationship. All of that, of course, would only happen if we can interest you and motivate you to really look at the possibilities before us in a very enthusiastic manner. Once again, thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for your inspiring speech. Willingness to cement business relations between our two countries will undoubtedly have interest among our business leaders present today and explore the numerous opportunities that have emerged. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now to the interactive. We don't have, because the next in Phoenix. So we have roughly around 20 minutes for questions and answers. So I would request you to be very brief, precise in your statements, in your questions. So the floor is yours. Please present yourself very briefly and then your statement.
Anil Karimji, President of the Joint Business Council, India-Mauritius, from the Chamber of Commerce. Your Excellency, it is an honor to have you here. I wanted to share some thoughts with you after hearing words, and these thoughts are based on the experience of the BC. We worked on the CECPA with pride for many, many years. I think over 12 years. And when we now come to the signature, the thoughts of flow and connectivity of goods and people come to mind. The flow of people, I wanted to say, Air India in Mauritius, I think 54 years ago. And for 54 years, we have had direct connectivity with India. The JB in 1997 negotiated with governments landing rights in Delhi. And yet with the damage of COVID, we are faced with uncertainty and we do not know whether we will have connectivity and direct connectivity with India in the coming months. We will work with government, we will work with authorities to make that happen, and we hope we are not brought back 54 years into history. Going further than connectivity to Mauritius, I think there's the issue of connectivity to Africa. As you rightly said, Excellency, Africa is one of the three pillars. And looking forward, we do not know what is the visibility of connectivity to South Africa, and again we will work with authorities. But the flow of people, of Indian nationals from Mauritius to Africa, is also impacted by visas. And we hope to be able to work with authorities